In the last lectures of design of jig fixture subject for the semester 5, you have completed first two modules that comprises of basic of jig fixture and basic constructions of jigs and fixture. Today, in the third module of jigs fixtures, we are going to see construction of drill jig. Now, what is the syllabus associated with construction of drill jig? Please write down. It is the syllabus and points we are going to study are introduction, then selection of location, supporting and clamping faces or supporting and clamping points, then cutting tools and means of guiding and supporting jigs, various types of jig bushes, commonly used drill jigs, case study on design of drill jig. Let's start with the module. The basic function of drill jig is to support, locate and secure the workpiece accurately as well as to guide the cutting tool. Dear friends, we have talked many times regarding the jig basics. As we know, it has to perform the three functions. The first function is to hold the workpiece, that is holding of the workpiece in a tighter way, to clamp the workpiece very easily, that is clamping of the workpiece, and providing a position to the tool, providing a guiding position to the tool so that it can perform or it can work accurately. Therefore, drilling jig consists of following elements according to the requirement, and the requirements are main body, locating elements, clamping elements, then tool guiding elements, positioning elements and indexing elements. So these are the 6 main elements of the drilling jig. Now the design principles that are to be considered for drilling jigs, and they are as follows. The very first design principle we have to understand is the drilling jig must be rigid and strong enough to withstand all the cutting forces. Dear friends, this is the very basic and very crucial condition you have to understand. The drilling jig must be rigid and strong enough to withstand all the cutting forces. Now you can't say that cutting forces will be coming only in a x-axis or only in a y-axis or only in a z-axis. So the drilling jig should be rigid. It should be ready to take up any number of forces. Then it should be strong. It should not break during the operation, and the cutting forces are to be get damped inside that. It should be locating the workpiece securely in its position. Any deviation in the same may lead to workpiece reaction. Now why the condition occurs? Now as the diagram running in the video is showing on the top side that it is a drilling jig. The component has to be located securely, because if any sharp material gets deposited in between the workpiece and the face, then there is a chance that due to the tilting actions or due to any small bending actions or adherence actions, there will be problem and the quality may get damaged. Dedicated components must be avoided in drilling jigs as they are subjected to rough handlings. Is that right? Yes, because delicate components may get damaged. Next, for safety issues, sharp corners, protruding parts must be avoided. Yes, it is very true. Then sufficient space must be provided between the workpiece and the bottom of the bush to allow the chips to be removed between the workpiece and bushing plates. Removal of the chip, though drill bush, may cause excessive wear of the bush. Drill bushing should not be placed far away from the workpiece as it may lead to bending of the drill. Generally, the distance between workpiece and bushing is 1 to 1.5 times the diameter of the drill. Now, a replaceable type of bushing should be preferred. Use of hardened guide bushes ensures positional accuracy. So dear friends, these are the designing principles that have to be taken into the considerations. We'll move forward. We'll see selection of location, supporting and clamping faces. Now how location selected, let's understand. Selection of location points and supports. A machine surface must be selected for the locating and supporting as it provides accurate reference as compared to unmachined surfaces. Yes, it is very true, because if the locators are connected with the base and if machine surface is not provided onto the locator side, then due to the cutting forces and due to the vibrations occurring, there is a chance that the component may get slid up from the front face of the locators. Okay, locating and supporting surfaces should be designed such that they do not collect chips or swirls. Many times it happens that due to the casting properties of the base material, there may be a small adherence or there may be a small joining that is occurring between the hot chips that are produced due to machining or due to the drilling, and there may be a temporary or permanent adherence with the jig body, therefore it will damage the jig body itself. Locating and supporting elements should be hardened to increase their wear resistance, therefore life will also be increased. If it is required to locate the workpiece with rough surfaces, adjustable type of locators should be used. Yes, these are the very true conditions. Locating surfaces should be as minimum as possible. Yes, now this is the condition which has to be accepted. Selection of clamping points. Clamp should be arranged directly above the supporting points, otherwise workpiece may get distorted. Yes, if there are chances of workpiece in indentation or indentation due to application of clamping pressure, fiber gaps should be used in between clamp and workpieces. Clamping point should be arranged such that they enable even distribution of clamping force against locators. Suitable supporting points should be selected for dedicated workpieces to take up the loads. Clamping points should be visible to the operator so that he can load and unload the workpiece without any fatigue. The cutting force must always be directed to a fixed top and not towards moving member. So, these are the actual conditions associated with selection of location, supporting and clamping faces. We'll move forward and we are going to see cutting tools and means of guiding and supporting jigs. Now, drilling jig can be used to perform following operations, and as you can list, there are around 7 to 8 operations that a drilling jig can perform. They are: drilling is a machine operation by which cylindrical holes are produced or enlarged. Then rimming, it is an operation of sizing and shaping a hole using a tool called as a rimmer. Then tapping, third one, it is a thread cutting operation. It is used as a multi-point cutting tool, tap. Then chamfering, the fourth operation. In this operation, bevel or grooves are produced in the workpieces. The tool used for this operation is called as a chamfer, mention that. Then next, fifth is a counter boring. It is the operation of enlarging one end of an existing hole concentric with the original hole. The tool used known as a counter bore. Then sixth number is a counter sinking. It is the operation of beveling one end of an existing hole so that it can accommodate flat head screw, and it is performed with counter sinking tool. Reverse counter sinking. In this operation, it is performed by reverse counter sinking tool to produce beveling at bottom end of the workpieces. And last 8 is the reverse spot facing. It is performed with the reverse spot face tool, whereas it produces flat machine surface around the hole. So these are the operations a drill jig can perform. Now when we consider about this, we have to take into note that we have to go again with the drill bushes. Now what are the drill bushes? They are used to guide drills, reamers and other tools to the required position on the workpieces. Drill bushes are water hardening carbon steels having 0.85 to 1% carbon or 0.75 to 0.9% manganese, which is hardened to RC64 to increase wear resistance. They are usually ground to exact sizes to ensure about the repeatability. Inside diameter of the bush is generally ground precision running feet, that is F7 with the drill or tool diameter, and outside diameter of the bush is made to have either press feet, precision feet or running feet according to the requirement. Various types of bushes are available to suit the needs of the job. Now what are the types of jig bushes? They are plain bush or headless bush. Now this plain bush or headless bush are generally press fitted to the jig and used in batch production, where life of the bush often outlasts the life of the jig. Also, they are used when the top surface of jig plate is required to be free from the projecting collars and there is limited space. Next is a headed bush. These bushes are preferred over the headless bushes as they provide positive stop against the jig plate. Chances of getting losing jig plate and sliding axially with drill are lesser in this type of bushes. It is also press fitted in the jig plate. A good seat of bush is ensured by chamfering of hole and undercutting a lead of bush. Then shape bushes. Twist drill tend to bend while drilling on inclined or curved surfaces as shown. To eliminate this, a shape of drill bush is altered so that it provides better support to the drill against bending. Shape of the drill bush is made similar to the workpiece profile, that is, the end of the bush may be made straight or curved. Extended bush, this type of bushes are used to guide long drills or the hole which is to be drilled is far away from the drill plate. Its bore is relieved at top end so that only the bush end which is near the workpiece control the tool. Long bush in two sections. Long bush can also be designed in two sections. The longer bush is made of cheaper materials like cast iron, and lower bush is made up of hardened alloy steel as it actually guides the tool. Renewable bush, because of continuous use, inside diameter of the bush gets worn out and loses its accuracy. To eliminate this, the worn out bushes need to be replaced after some time interval, which consumes a lot of time and money as well. This process of bush replacement can be made easier with the help of renewable bushes. Renewable bushes are light press fitted in the jig plate so that they can be easily fitted manually. Linear bush can be used along with renewable bush, which provides hardened wear resisting material surfaces to the renewable bush. Retainer shoulder screw is provided to prevent the bush from rotating and from any axial movement. To replace the bush, retainer screw need to be removed and worn out bush taken out and new bush is fitted in its place. Slip bush, when two or more drilling operations are required to perform at the same location, it is necessary to use different guiding bushes for different tools. Suppose a job requires drilling operation and a reaming operation with the same jig. In such case, the hole is first drilled using a bush which is suitable for the drill. Then the drill bush is removed and other bush which is suitable for the reamer is placed in that place. To do this operation in less time, slip bushes are used. Now for the easy loading and unloading of the bushes, the cutout in the flange is provided which can be aligned with the retainer shoulder screw. We talk about bushes with flats. If two holes are to be drilled whose center distance is very close to each other, then these type of bushes can be effectively used. Bushes for light clamping. A threaded or screw bush can be used to apply light clamping pressure on the workpiece, and these threads are used to hold the bush in its place as well as to make the adjustment. Now bushes sometimes used to control the hole depth. Depth of hole can be controlled by holding the tool in a special socket, and setting gauge is used to set the required depth. Then there are oil groove bushings. It permits positive and complete lubrication of bushing which is required in high speed drilling operations. Now, how the installation of drilling bushes takes place? It is the key question. So there are three methods. The three methods are: it is required to install bushes accurately and precisely to the given location, otherwise it can damage the tool or hole operations. Therefore, there are in total three methods of installation of drilling bushes. The very first is arm or press method, in which arbor is pressed against the bush and bush is accompanied into jig plate. Second is a draw bolt, in which a spacer and bolt system is used and bush is fitted using nut and bolt arrangement. And third is hammer and punch method, in which a bush is kept on a jig space and a hammer and punch is used to fit the bush inside the jig body. Dear friends, up till now we have seen the types of drilling operations, that total 8 operations can be performed on a drill jig. Then we have seen bushes. Again, in the bushes we have seen 11 types of bushing methodology. So in the next lecture we will see what are the commonly used drill jigs. Till then, study hard. Thank you.